What's up, fellas, lady fellas, and yes, I did take that from Drake and Josh. Alright, so I'm going to be talking about V for Vendetta. Now, this will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it already, then you may wish to watch that first, and then come back to this video afterwards and let me know what you think then. First one was about the power of symbols and words. Now, V for Vendetta starts with a brief look at Guy Fawkes, and this is done to set up the idea that symbols outlive the person. The next scene shows the BTN propaganda news reports while V and Evie are getting themselves ready. Now, neither character is paying full attention to the news, which lets us know that there is a collective understanding that the reports are largely false. So when V blows up the Old Bailey, he refers to it as an imposter for justice, and this gives the first clue as to who V is taking revenge for. The next day, V hijacks a TV station and makes his call to arms speech. He talks about oppression through fear, subtlest promise of peace in exchange for silent obedience, and also talks about words retaining their power during his video as well. Now, during the Shadow Gallery scene where V confirms his intentions to blow up Parliament, he said that the building is a symbol, and as is the act of blowing it up, symbols are given power by the people. So these early scenes convey the idea of words and symbols having power. Later, there's Valerie's story where she mentions that the meaning of words had changed, different became dangerous. So there's also an understanding from the regime that words have power as well, except they're using it to control people. Now, comparing V to Dietrich, Evie mentions that both V and Dietrich prepared the egg on toast in the exact same way, where Dietrich then jokes about them being one and the same. But there are other things that they have in common as well. They both greeted Evie in French. They both have a secret layer filled with forbidden art. They both use the term least of my worries. Now, V wears a mask. Dietrich talks about wearing a mask in a metaphorical sense. Now, this doesn't mean that they are the same person, but as V said to Delia, there are no coincidences. So what does this mean? Now, Dietrich's character represents public opinion. This is demonstrated when he made fun of Chancellor Sutler. We see various shots of the public laughing in agreement. He knows there is something wrong with the country, but chooses not to only not say anything, but hides his own sexuality through fear of persecution. His comparison to V shows that V isn't just taking revenge, but also avenging everyone because everyone has in some way been oppressed. Now, Finch asks the question, would you want to know the truth if your own government was behind a series of attacks which were blamed on someone else? Now, the obvious answer might seem to be yes, but let's consider what that means. If we know the truth, then that means we're also compelled to do something about it. To know the truth and stay silent means that we are now complicit in the atrocities. V mentions this also in his calls to arms speech. If we know the truth that our government is corrupt, then we lose our convenience and comfort. And if you live in a Western society, then you know that it is built around convenience and comfort. For example, we all like to buy things at as low a price as we can get. But would you still want to buy cheap items if you knew that they were made in a factory where staff were systematically being abused? When we know we either have to buy from somewhere else, which is usually more expensive, campaign against it, or do without. In any case, we lose our convenience. So this type of information isn't always easily available, and unless you know to look for it and where to look, there's a good chance you may never know. Meanwhile, there's always plenty of sports, soap operas and gossip to keep our minds off looking in the first place, constantly being reminded that other places don't have it as good as we do, and you never want to lose your convenience lest you become like them. Evie's father said, artists use lies to tell the truth while politicians use them to cover it up. V said, there are no coincidences. So what is the truth this fictional story is trying to tell us? Now, there were 3 attacks in the film's history: St. Mary's School, Three Waters Treatment Facility and the Underground Tube Station. The attacks were blamed on religious extremists. Public fear and panic led way to Sutler coming into power, then becoming the newly created High Chancellor, keeping control of the people through fear generated by media manipulation. September 2001. 4 planes are hijacked. 2 are crashed into the World Trade Center, 1 into the Pentagon and the other was shot down. Excuse me. I mean, the passengers tried to ameliorate their situation, and which then caused the plane to crash into a field rather than its intended targets of the White House. Now, these attacks were blamed on religious extremists. Public fear and panic led to troops being deployed in the name of freedom. More deployed later to look for weapons of mass destruction. The power of words. Many have speculated that these were all lies, that the US government actually orchestrated the attacks. Now, these were never proven, but V for Vendetta asks, would you want to know? Could you rise up against it, or live with the consequences of inaction? Now, V's face is never shown, even in death, because underneath the mask, he is all of us. He is a symbol of an idea that all of us have what it takes to stand up against lies, tyranny and oppression, and ideas are bulletproof. And that is what I think of V for Vendetta. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree or if you think there's something that I've missed. If you liked this video, please click like, share and all that good stuff. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos. Check out the other videos on the channel as well. But that is all for now, so thank you for watching, and until next time, verily there's vicious suave verbiage, there's most verbose. So let me simply add, it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.